Alright. So, real quick, I know that Seth has made a video about Kakashi vs. Gojo, but here's the thing about it. Now, here's the thing, I have gone through the entire article about Gojo, and I'm pretty sure that as of right now, I might be the best person to explain Gojo's abilities out there. Now, before I start power scaling Gojo, if you do not want to hear me yap about Gojo's abilities, you can just skip to the time on the screen, because after that I'll be covering Sasuke's power scaling, and that's going to be real short, and after that it will be who wins and how they do. Alright, so starting with Infinity, let's get the math started. So basically, Gojo divides the distance in between himself and, let's take Jogo here, with 1 unit being the distance in between them, right? So he makes a series, S is equals to 1, that when you open it up, you get S is equals to 1 by 10 plus 1 by 100 plus 1 by 1000 plus 1 by 10,000 and so on until you get 1. I'm going to represent this as decimals, so it's going to be easier to comprehend. And when you double this, you get 2s is equals to 0.2 plus 0.02 plus 0.0002 and so on until the final answer is just 2. Now, you subtract these two series, you get the original series, which basically means that this infinite series made by Gojo doesn't approach any definitive value other than that 1 unit of distance in between him and Gojo in this example, and so Gojo's movement seems to come to a stop. Okay, now that I've explained what infinity is, we can start terming these as parts of Limitless, as Limitless is just a singular curse technique that Gojo has. So infinity can be termed as neutral limitless because that is the base action of this curse technique. After this comes blue. Now blue might be a little confusing, but let's just use the example of apples, okay? So what is 1 apple? The one you see on your screen. 5 apples? That works. 0 apples? You have nothing. And what is -1 apples? Now, I won't start a whole debate on the -1 apples and whatnot. We are just going to take this as removing the volume of 1 apple from a set amount of space, right? So if Gojo wants to pull something like a clock towards him, he would just spawn -10 apples in between himself and the clock. So the clock is pulled towards him because the space between the clock and Gojo has been removed. So the clock would be pushed to fill in the space, and so Gojo can easily catch the clock. Alright, so many of you have trouble understanding Gojo's red and especially how it works mathematically, but if you have been understanding what I've been saying right till now, you will understand this. If you don't, just leave a comment and I'll explain it to you in the comments. Okay, so here we take a series half plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 16 and so on, which is approximately equal to 1. Remember the approximately, this will be very helpful. And now if you double this series, you have 1 plus half plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8 and so on, which is approximately equal to 2. If you subtract the first series from this second series, you get that the answer is exactly equal to 1, not approximately, which tells us that this series is leading to a definitive answer. And if Gojo manipulates the series by multiplying it as many times as he wants, instead of using 0.5, he can just use 3.5 and call it a day, right? So using this concept, red actually starts repelling instead of attracting. You can also remember this as the opposite of blue, which is just opposite of attraction is repulsion, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, the domain expansion used by Gojo, also known as Unlimited Void, is basically just a complete sensory and communication manipulation where infinite knowledge and stimulus is brought to the focus when this domain is unleashed, and anyone not in contact with Gojo will experience the negative effects of having this much information flood their senses. As the flooding of information occurs, the opponent is rendered immobile. They cannot move or even speak as the information is far too vast for them to be able to even take an action. Gojo himself implies that the influx of information created by Unlimited Void is, well, limitless, as this technique is brought in reality and enforced onto his opponent. So, for a quick recap, we have now talked about Infinity, Blue, Red, and the domain, which leaves us Kyoshiki, Murasaki. Okay, so before you start listening to me yap about Hollow Purple, I want you to pause the video and read everything on the screen right here. And after that, you can just resume the video and understand Hollow Purple like it's nothing. Okay, cool. So Hollow Purple is written as a mix of red and blue, which just gives us a sort of wide formula which is nothing. Basically, just think of it as a complex domain in mathematics, right? In simpler terms, we can say that this is sort of a KL divergence, which is a non-symmetric metric that measures the relative entropy or difference in information represented by two distributions. You can read more right here, and if you don't understand that, we can just take this as pure destruction, as Hollow Purple is not a physical form in the 3 dimensions of our world, and instead it is pure destruction, like from point A to point B. If there is, say, a bunch of trees, you fire Hollow Purple at it, what happens? The trees vanish. We don't know where the trees go, they are just destroyed, and that is Hollow Purple, because if you see in the manga, Hollow Purple doesn't actually have a form. And that concludes my TED talk about Gojo's power scaling. Now finally, we can get started with Sasuke. Now, to power scale Sasuke, I do not need any fancy numbers because I'm pretty sure you all know how strong Naruto characters can be, with Naruto being planetary and Sasuke being relatively equal to Naruto in terms of speed and power. So we can just go ahead and say that Sasuke is also approximately a bit faster than the speed of light, because we can all agree that Naruto got way faster, so did Sasuke, and he's relatively fast enough to keep up with Naruto, blah blah blah. Sasuke is faster than the speed of light. As for strength, he's planetary or moon level, take your pick. He will still be stronger than Gojo. Next point, Genjutsu. Would Genjutsu work on Gojo? This is a little more debatable because I would prefer equaling the balance for any cross-anime power scaling that I do. But the thing is that if we do, then it's just Genjutsu GG easy, right? But if we don't, then Sasuke will have to use Amaterasu, which is still GG easy because Amaterasu will go through infinity, and that's a fact because it just spawns there. Do not care how much distance it has to go through, it will just spawn on the line of sight. For the Raikage, he outsped it because he anticipated the Amaterasu coming at him. So he just moved out of the way, and what Sasuke saw was the afterimage, which is why in the anime it's shown that the Raikage is faster than the Amaterasu. Other than that, we do not have to scale Sasuke that much as we did Gojo, because now you do know who wins. So finally, the winner is Sasuke Uchiha. I do not know why this was a debate. Like, Prime Sasuke is actually overkill. If you take Warrock Sasuke, we can start debating, but I do not have the energy to debate with Gojo fanboys any longer than I absolutely need to. So let me know what you guys think. Like the video if you enjoyed it. You can see all my socials right here, and I will be back with more mathematical anime content. It is your boy Rishi. I'm out.